guys, Davison here. I just finished watching a really disappointing and inaccurate video by an anti-feminist woman called Lauren Southern. Lauren Southern claims that feminism is not a movement about equality, but instead is about entitlement and supremacy. And her whole video hinges its arguments on the fact that feminism cannot possibly be about equality because most feminists do not focus on issues affecting men. The issues she brings up are rape and domestic violence, for example. So what Lauren gets wrong is that just because feminism focuses on women's issues or the feminine doesn't mean that its goal isn't equality. Just like men's rights activists, just because they want to focus on issues affecting men doesn't mean that their ultimate goal isn't equality. And both sides frequently get that wrong, and she's just perpetuating that problem. We all want equality. We all want justice. However, it makes sense to label your group with the name of the group that your movement is primarily focused on. LGBT groups are labeled as such because they're focused on the needs of gays and lesbians. Therefore, feminism is called feminism because it's focused on women's issues. So, in focusing on women's issues, feminists address the inequalities and injustices facing women one by one with the ultimate goal of equality. This does not mean that they hate men. This does not mean that they are trying to undermine men or that they believe that all men in all cases are privileged and that all women in all cases are oppressed. Binary, extremist, polarized thinking is not part of a well-balanced feminism. I also want to address some of the facts that Lauren presents in her video. She says that 50% of all domestic abuse victims are male. This is an inaccurate statistic. I will direct you to a website called Eureka Street that clearly says that of all violence that has been inflicted upon men, for instance, in Australia, less than 5% of men experienced violence at the hands of a woman or a former romantic partner that is female in the last 12 months. I don't know where they're getting that statistic from, but it's totally inaccurate. That is not to say that men are not victims of domestic violence or domestic abuse and that it's not terrible when it happens, because it is terrible, but just that it seems like she's overstating the violence that women inflict upon men to undermine women's very valid claims in many circumstances that they have issues of inequality that need addressing. I'm going to end this video the same way that Lauren ended hers. I am a feminist because I believe in promoting equality and combating sexism and having equal and fair treatment for both genders. And if it means that I have to focus on negative issues affecting women, then I will. And gradually, as those go away, then we will reach equality. Just as men's rights activists, if there are terrible issues affecting men, you keep focusing on them. But let's stop blaming one another because it gets us nowhere.